Let's go back to 2020, a moment that completely shifted the landscape of the NFL and sports contracts in general. That was the year Patrick Mahomes, already a Super Bowl champion and MVP by then, signed a jaw-dropping 10-year contract extension worth up to $450 million with the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, you heard that right. $500 million over 10 years. It wasn't just a record-breaking contract for football. It was the largest deal in the history of North American sports at the time. This move didn't just make headlines, it made a statement. The Chiefs were all in on Mahomes, and they weren't shy about it. They weren't just paying him for what he had already accomplished. They were investing in what he was about to become. And let's be honest, if you were watching the league back then, you could tell something special was happening in Kansas City. The structure of the contract was key. It was designed not just to reward Mahomes, but also to give the Chiefs long-term stability. It locked in their superstar quarterback through 2031. The deal included various bonuses and mechanisms to protect both sides financially, which showed just how smart both the player and the organization were being. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. When Mahomes signed that deal, it felt like no one would catch up to that number anytime soon. But that's not how the NFL works, right? Quarterback contracts started climbing almost immediately. Other stars like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts started signing mega deals of their own. In terms of average annual salary, Mahomes, once the highest-paid player in the league, suddenly found himself dropping down the list. But don't get it twisted. He's still earning generational money. The question is, how does this affect the team going forward? And what does it say about Mahomes that he hasn't pushed to immediately renegotiate just to stay on top of the pay chart? That's where things start to evolve. And in Chapter 2, we're diving deep into how Mahomes has allowed his contract to be restructured again and again to help the team win. But before we move on, quick question for you. Do you remember where you were when Mahomes signed that massive contract? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear your story. And hey, if you're a true Chiefs fan and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right now and help us get to our goal of 4,000 subscribers. Let's grow this community together. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated parts of Mahomes' greatness, his willingness to restructure his contract. Look, it's one thing to sign a massive deal. It's another thing entirely to keep reworking that deal to give your team more flexibility to compete. And that's exactly what Mahomes has been doing since day one. Since that 10-year deal in 2020, the Chiefs and Mahomes have already restructured his contract multiple times. Most recently, in 2023, they moved money around to give the team extra cap space. Why? So they could keep building around him. So they could keep guys like Chris Jones. So they could stay aggressive in free agency. That kind of move doesn't just happen. It takes trust, sacrifice, and a serious commitment to winning. Let's be real here. Mahomes could easily walk into Brett Veach's office and say, "I want to be the highest-paid quarterback in the league right now." And guess what? He'd probably get it. But instead, he's choosing a different path. He's playing the long game. He knows that keeping weapons around him, maintaining a top-tier defense, and protecting that offensive line is more valuable than just topping the salary rankings. And it's not just the front office that notices. That type of selflessness trickles down to the rest of the locker room. When the franchise player puts the team first, it sets the tone for everyone else. You better believe rookies, veterans, and even other stars take note of that. Mahomes isn't just a quarterback, he's a culture setter. Now let's put this in perspective. The Chiefs are still one of the top contenders every single year. They've won 2 Super Bowls with Mahomes and appeared in multiple AFC championship games. You think that's a coincidence? Nah. It's a direct result of smart planning and unselfish leadership. So here's a question for you. Do you think Mahomes restructuring his deal proves he's the ultimate team-first player? Vote yes or no in the comments. I'll be checking too. See what Chiefs Kingdom really thinks. And if you appreciate players who sacrifice for the good of the team, give this video a like. Every like and sub helps us reach more fans and hit that 4,000 subscriber milestone. Let's keep this momentum going. Coming up next, we're breaking down how Mahomes' current contract compares to other top quarterbacks and why it might be time for another big adjustment. All right, let's get into the numbers, because they don't lie. When Patrick Mahomes signed his $450 million deal, it was absolutely groundbreaking. But fast forward to today, and several quarterbacks have surpassed him in terms of average annual salary. Names like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and even Jalen Hurts are now earning more per year than Mahomes. Crazy, right? Now let's be clear, those guys are elite talents. They've earned their money. But if we're talking results, no one has come close to matching what Mahomes has accomplished in the same span. We're talking Super Bowls, MVPs, playoff dominance. He's stacking up a Hall of Fame resume in real time. Yet somehow he's not even in the top 5 when it comes to quarterback salaries right now. So that begs the question, is it time for a raise? There's been a lot of buzz recently about the Chiefs and Mahomes quietly working on a new contract structure. Nothing official yet, but where there's smoke, there's usually fire, especially when the timing lines up with other quarterback deals coming due. And let's face it, you can only keep a guy like Mahomes under market value for so long before it starts to look ridiculous. But here's what makes this situation so interesting. Mahomes isn't pushing for a raise just to say he's the highest paid. Sources around the league believe he wants a balanced deal, one that compensates him fairly but still allows Kansas City to stay competitive. That's rare. You don't see that kind of mindset every day, especially at the quarterback position. And it's got fans and analysts talking. If the Chiefs rework his deal, will it be another 10-year type structure? Or will they go for something shorter with flexibility down the road? Either way, you can bet Brett Veach is already drawing up options. Let's put it out there for you to weigh in. Should the Chiefs give Mahomes a brand new contract this offseason or keep rolling with what they've got? Hit the comments and let me know. Your take might just get featured in the next video. And while you're here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the latest news. We're building something special here at Total Chiefs News, and we need your help to get to that 4,000 subscriber goal. Next up, we're talking about what a potential new deal for Mahomes might actually look like. Get ready, because things could get wild. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, let's imagine the possibilities. If Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are indeed cooking up a new deal behind the scenes, what might that contract actually look like? One thing's for sure. It won't be a simple one-size-fits-all contract. We're probably talking about one of the most creative and flexible deals in NFL history. Why? Because that's exactly how Mahomes and the Chiefs have done business up to this point. They think long-term. They think smart. So let's break down the likely priorities on both sides. From Mahomes' perspective, he's already made it clear he wants to be compensated like one of the top quarterbacks in the league, which he absolutely deserves. But at the same time, he values team success over personal records. So expect a deal that puts him right back in the top tier, maybe even with some rolling guarantees or performance escalators that allow the contract to evolve over time. We could see something like a 5 to 7 year extension added on to the current deal. Think guaranteed money in the $250–300 million range, but with the ability to spread out cap hits over time. There might be restructuring triggers, built in every couple of years to keep the Chiefs flexible, and that flexibility is key. From the Chiefs' side, they want to lock Mahomes in for the long haul, but not at the cost of gutting the rest of the roster. Expect Veach and his team to push for a structure similar to what they've already done: bonus-heavy years, low initial cap hits, and strategic cash flow that allows them to sign or retain other key players. Remember, this team still has to pay guys like Chris Jones, Creed Humphrey, and possibly even young stars down the road like Rashee Rice, assuming everything pans out. So the Mahomes deal can't be a financial handcuff. It has to be a blueprint for continued dominance. And here's the fun part for you. If you were Mahomes, what would you ask for in your next contract? Would you go for the bag or structure it to build another dynasty? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to see how Chiefs fans would play it. And of course, hit that like button if you're loving this. Break down and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the final chapter. We're wrapping it all up with what this means for the Chiefs' Super Bowl window. So now that we've broken it all down, where does this leave the Kansas City Chiefs? In a word, powerful. If Mahomes and the front office strike the right balance with a new deal, it could set the Chiefs up for another decade of dominance. Think about it. How many other franchises have a quarterback who's not only generationally talented, but also willing to adapt his contract for the greater good of the team? That's almost unheard of. A smart, flexible extension means Kansas City stays competitive year after year. It means the team can afford to keep building elite rosters around Mahomes without sacrificing depth or star power. And that's exactly how dynasties are built. Just look at what they've done since he arrived. Multiple Super Bowl appearances, multiple rings, consistent AFC dominance, and they're not slowing down. If anything, the arrow is still pointing up. The defense is getting younger and faster. The offensive weapons are developing. The coaching remains elite. A new Mahomes deal done right could act as a launch pad, not a finish line. But let's be real. This next move is crucial. If the contract is too top-heavy, it could limit what the team can do around him. But if it's smart, like every move Veach has made so far, it could open the door to even more success. The kind of success that puts you in the conversation with the Patriots dynasty. Yeah, I said it. Now, here's a question for you to think about. Do you believe Mahomes will win at least 2 more Super Bowls with the Chiefs before he retires? That's a bold one. So go ahead, drop your prediction in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And hey, if you've enjoyed this deep dive into Mahomes' contract situation, help us keep this channel growing by hitting that like button and subscribing to Total Chiefs News. We're on a mission to hit 4,000 subscribers, and every one of you makes a difference. Thanks for watching Chiefs Kingdom. Let's keep our eyes on Mahomes, because if history's any clue, the best might still be ahead.